Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
Yes, it is. It is. It's
But the fire
getting
is so
wintry.
delightful. Since we no place to go, let's drink some whiskey.
Oh, finally. I thought that song would go on forever.
Happy December 15th, day 3
Yeah.
of the 12 Drams of Christmas. Yeah, we're rolling now. I hope you guys have enjoyed the last 2 whiskeys. I know I have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In particular, the last one. It was.
Yeah,
I thought it was quite remarkable.
Just goes to show you, if just because you haven't heard of them before doesn't mean you shouldn't try it. So,
yeah.
And speaking of never heard of before, or shouldn't try it.
Oh.
I got another special one for you today.
Oh. Great.
Drum roll, please. Day 3 whiskey for the 12 Drams of Christmas for 2024 is a very, very special whiskey, and also one that's quite rare, and maybe one that isn't quite. It's not accessible at all, unless you know the right people.
Oh.
Anyway, this whiskey is Douglas Distillery, We Rock Whiskey Group, or pardon me, We Rock Whiskey Club, single cask, F014. Sorry, the camera's not really focusing very well. So, F14.
Now, I might change that slightly on the pronunciation to Douglas, rather than Douglas. But
Fair enough.
It's one of those names that keeps coming up.
If you look at the pronunciation, it kind of looks like Douglas Distillery, but it actually doesn't translate to Douglas.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's one of the beauties of Gaelic. And I say Gaelic because in the Highlands, that's how they pronounce the word. What we often think of as Gaelic, which is more Irish.
That's right.
So the Gaelic would be slightly different than, say, what the Lowlander might pronounce it as. So, it's just one of those terms that is a mystery when it comes to understanding.
And in Gaelic, it means from dark water.
Yes.
Not sure what the
in this case, it's we won't tell anybody, but it's well water. It's fed from an aquifer. But
very well.
Again, maybe that's why they call it black water or dark water.
I'm sure. I'm sure there's a story behind it. Yeah. We'd have to talk to Steve Lee, who is the distillery owner and master at this distillery in Oliver, BC. So this whiskey comes all the way from the Okanagan. Lots to talk about with this whiskey. It's a super special whiskey, as I said. On the bottle, there's a little picture of a little fighter jet, because it's called the cask was F014, F14. I had the honor of being part of a cask purchase with the We Rock Whiskey Club from Salt Spring Island. Thank you, Rich Lee, for including me in that. And thank you, Steve Lee and Rich, for getting me these whiskeys in time so that I can put it in the 12 Drams. This is a single cask. The Whiskey Club decided to do a purchase. Douglas?
Let's call it Douglas.
is an award-winning Canadian artisan distiller making whiskey and gin. They're probably most well known for their gin. It's called Noteworthy Gin. You've probably seen it on the shelves, or so even have one in your cupboard.
For their gin is called Noteworthy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's in the heart of wine country in the Okanagan Valley.
That's wine without the H.
That's right. This whiskey is just over 3 years old, and it's matured in the scorching summers near Gallagher Lake, which is in Oliver there. This whiskey was fully matured in an Exlafroid quarter cask, so that's really interesting too. Quarter cask is exactly what it says. It's a quarter of a full-size cask, so it's a smaller cask, which means maturation happens faster because there's more surface area, more concentration with the whiskey. So to go full 3 years in a quarter cask is like, I don't know what exactly how long it would be from a full cask, but you would get the same effect of a whiskey that had matured much longer in a full cask. This cask started out
Theoretically.
theoretically.
Yeah.
This cask started out as F007 cask, and it sprung a leak, and so he had to transfer the whiskey into the F014 cask. So it kind of went from the James Bond cask to a Maverick and Goose cask, if you will.
You got me. I'm lost. But
Well, 007 is James Bond,
I got
obviously.
that part. That part
And
was
the
easy.
F-14 Tomcat is the jet that they
gotcha.
fly in Top Gun. So,
Thank you.
sorry, I
I
had to
think I
explain
needed
that.
that. I'm not sure, but I think I needed that.
Yeah, so this is what you get here is a beautiful single cask BC craft whiskey with whiffs of Isla Peat. It's bottled at 66.6%. That is a whopper, if you will. Here we have a glass.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, actually, I think this is mine. This is yours.
Okay.
So there it is in the glass. Beautiful color. Wow.
Oh,
Has some really interesting notes on the nose. I've always found that with this distillery, the whiskey is really kind of terroir at its finest, in my opinion, because I get notes on the nose especially, but also on the palate of things that you would find in the Okanagan, like pine trees.
It smells like a soap dispenser in a restaurant.
Well, what kind of soap? Pine soap?
Never mind. I don't need to get into detail. It's an intriguing nose, but
For sure. So there is like some soapy notes.
Let's figure it out. Yeah, soapy notes.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So on the palate, I'm getting the berries and pine, almost like a Christmas. What am I trying to say here?
This is a defining moment.
Yeah. Like not a Christmas cake, but a Christmas. Holy crappers! It's gone. I lost it. Anyway, some Christmassy notes there to me, like incense, kind of like a Christmas incense.
Not one that you would meditate with, but one that has
just like a
sparkle
scented
to it.
candle that you're burning
Yeah.
at Christmas time, if you will.
You
Sorry
said
it took so long to get that out.
66%?
66%. So yeah, pretty robust, very very strong alcohol burn in there as well.
Yeah.
Which is some people it can be off-putting. I know the first time I tried this whiskey, I was kind of put off, and then I came back to it, and that's another good point I'd like to say. If you guys are never judge a whiskey by the first sip, for sure. Always go back for a second, and if you don't like it after that, I would say go back to it the next day and try it again, because sometimes it's just not the right moment, or it's just something you had just before it, or something like that plays on it. And after going back to this one, I'm actually really enjoying this. In fact, I had them rush me the whiskeys before the rest of the group so I could put it in the 12 drams, and then when I got it and I tried it, I started second guessing whether I should put it in the 12 drams.
I'm
And
adding
now,
a couple of drops
yeah,
just to see whether it changes the tasting experience.
this is definitely one. I would say all the whiskeys so far have been whiskeys that you can probably take a bit of water and you get a whole nother layer of flavor notes.
I'm no longer picking up on the soap dispenser.
There you go.
I'm picking up more on the fruit.
Getting some
Wow.
citrus
A little
notes
bit of-
in there too.
Yeah, Christmas cake.
Yeah.
Which is, this time of year anyway, so that's good.
Kind of like pine furniture polish. Okay, so with the
that changed
water,
that, yeah.
it softens the whiskey greatly, and there's a whole other sweetness, like a dough kind of sweetness to it.
I agree.
It doesn't. The whiskey does not fall apart. It really holds together well.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful whiskey for just a
Long
3-year-old
finish.
whiskey.
It takes you in a different direction. It goes from being that fruit, that Christmas cake, that all that softness to nowhere. I mean, it takes you somewhere, but I can't quite pin it down as to where that is.
And there's definitely some wisps of Isla Peat in there as well, which was almost, it was there without the water, but it was almost overshadowed by just the strength of the alcohol.
Very fascinating. There's a bit of harshness to it, but a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's 66 and
it's young,
yeah.
But beautiful whiskey. I quite enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you guys do too. It's a chance to try a super rare, unique whiskey. Thanks again to Rich and the We Rock Whiskey Club, and Steve Lee at Douglas Distillery.
Cheers.